Introductory Session 2.
So there's a lot of misconception about Islam, okay, but most of these are not really their fault because it's the divinity that has been put in on the Quran makes people unable to get closer to it. I don't know what Mr. Isaac said. I don't know what forgiveness he was seeking, but evident that he had to do things the hard way because it is not something that is supposed to be given outside like that. And he saw the curiosity in my face. He saw the interest and the desire to learn. So he wasn't disappointed because I actually read it. It's not something, and frankly, he advised me on his interest and his belief. This is his belief, and this is why he's giving me this, and this is how I must treat it. So I did my best to only touch the Quran when I know that I'm in the right state of body shape and I'm in the right state of mind, and I am there's purity and cleanliness around. There is a certain standard that he has set, and I don't know why that, but of course that is their belief, and the book is not mine. I didn't buy it myself. So if he actually goes further than he should, then he ought to give me all the moral justifications that I must handle this book with this kind of caution. And he actually believes that this is the words of Allah. So I need to treat it this way, and it is for him. So with all the due respect, I actually did that. And I think my life has never been the same since then because it is from there that my interest in the universe began. Yes, we are going to go there. This is just like the foundation. This I'm talking about was a couple of years back. Now everything started for me. And within this period, I asked a lot of questions to my pastors, asked a lot to my Christian apologetic friends, and most of them very early on knew that something was going on. And within those period, people who had had a discourse with me will realize that I am a little Islam biased because of the kind of training I was receiving. Okay, but it was helpful because if I stand on the ticket of Islam as a Christian, my colleagues would like to um, give me rebuttals, and that was how I was learning. Okay, so I take the Bible, I do referrals, I read, then I go back to the Quran, look at what the Quran says, and then the Hadiths as well. One of the book that fascinates me a lot. One of the very good things Islam has done was that it was able to differentiate the words of the prophets and the words of God. Okay, so interestingly, as there are some Bibles that you would have what Jesus has said highlighted in red, and what are the additions and the descriptions also in the normal black fonts. Yes, so Islam has the words of the prophets in the Hadith and then the words of Allah in the Quran. So I also got interested in the Hadith. I read it as well, and of course I was trying to increase my knowledge base in this Islam and its understanding. So a few years down the line, I've got to go to tertiary. So from there, that I started opening up wide because I wasn't home again where I could have access to the Islamic doctrine so much, but I was opened so much to the idea that it is not only this, but it could be this. You understand? And even though I wasn't a Muslim, I knew the beauty of Islam, and I still had some questions that were not answered to my satisfaction. Even though um, Mr. Isaac did his best to, of course, give me answers in the enclave of the religion. Okay. But I wanted more. It wasn't enough. I couldn't believe him because he said it. That is not how it's supposed to be. Something is not true because this person said it. It is true because we have compared it to evidence, personal experiences, and then common experiences where people have also had that similar experience, and something that has to be objective, not because you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, but because this has to do with truth and not how you wish it to be. So, of course, I had to find out myself. So, I began asking questions, and because the more curious you become, you would have to look for it in places. So, you go to YouTube, you go to Google, and then you would type in questions, and it will give you links to these great philosophers and these great scientists. So that is how I discovered Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I discovered Carl Sagan. That is how my interest in astrophysics and astronomy began. When I got to know these two people, I eventually knew Brian Greene quite very early because I was listening to them and like taking notes, watching lectures, and following them on sessions and stuff. So I knew what science was saying about things. I knew what Islam was saying about things. I knew what Christianity was saying about things. So it is now left to me to pick up the individual data I have learned from all this and connect the dots. And then it has to lead me to an understanding of why these people believe this. If this is evidentially true, as science states it, why is religion saying otherwise? What is the motivation? Why this is like this? And why do people still believe it? That's literally true. So that led me into the psychology of belief. And that will have to start from a fundamentals. So I had to go through psychology a little bit of the human understanding of things, why things are certain ways. And I got to learn about how indoctrination and geography, which is society, affects our thought processes and how we understand the world. Okay, so eventually I got to where I want to be, which is the psychology of belief, why people believe certain things, and why environmental factors and previous experiences of life could influence our beliefs. Why are you likely to be a Muslim when you are born in Saudi Arabia, and you are more likely to be a Christian if you are born, let's say, in America? Good. So those ones were also there, and then I got interest as well in neuroscience. That is one of my best fields right now that I am delving more into, which has to do with our mind and how to unravel consciousness. Okay, it brought about how spirituality happens. Yes, so that is how we're moving on to today. So if you see anything I write on my status, or you see anything that I've ever shared to you that seems unconventional, it didn't begin today. It began a long time before I even got to know that it is possible to change your mind and people like me actually exist. Frankly, you will speak to people and people have genuine like knowledge that like they don't know people like me exist. For example, they know that there is someone who do not believe in Islam. They know people who do not believe in Christianity. Okay. But people haven't quite had conversations with people who actually know their book as well as them and still don't subscribe to it for certain reasons. And most times, I always have this personal philosophy that I don't want to be a blind man on the right path. Some people are following people, okay, like let's say Abraham Ben Moshe or something, and they don't even understand how he came by these conclusions. So basically, they like the message, they they don't subscribe to the religions he speak against with the reasons he provided, most of them which are genuine. But something can neither be loved nor hated unless it is first understood. Nothing can be hated or loved unless it is first understood. I always tell people that we can go to Saudi Arabia, I will criticize Islam there, and they will bring scholars to come set a table for discussion. It's either they want to educate me and enlighten me, or they see the intellect and the wisdom that comes with someone who actually knows what he's saying. Some people hate Islam, and then you speak to them, and it is just nothing apart from what they heard from someone. But of course, the educational system is not there to teach you truth. Truth is not something school is supposed to be teaching. It's supposed to teach you how to align together. Apart from that, it is not there to teach you anything beyond your indoctrination. School has its purpose why it is there. That is why this platform has been set up, that we we can move beyond our indoctrinations. We can look at things from the bigger picture. We are not here to be right, but we are here to learn together how our thought processes can affect um, our community, our society, how in few years' time this country can change by the mentality we put up today. America is what it is today because of the decisions they took some 25 years ago. UK, China, Japan are what they are today because of the decisions, the actions that they took some years back. It has nothing to do with what they believe, or it has nothing to do with what they worship. There are more people in China who don't subscribe to Islam or Christianity in China. But just look at their country. God doesn't love them more than us. They're having better lives, not because of what they believe or disbelieve, but their state of mind, their knowledge based about the world. It is not about what we believe, or it's not about what we don't believe, but our deliberate and conscious efforts as a people to look at things, or our ability to look at things through different lenses. This generation would have the ability to learn something new. Yes. And again, if you are out there and you feel like you've always been scrolling on garbage, you feel like people use the social media to do all sort of unnecessary things, this is the platform for you to come here and learn something and do something. Even though you may not agree with everything, we are not here for you to agree on something, but for you to look at things through different perspectives and different lenses. Thank you.